don't get chopped up in the weekend price action of a Bitcoin, and I will also show you why we have to be a little bit careful here over the next 24 hours with the Bitcoin price action. I will show you exactly what I'm doing right now, so let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in here on this Sunday. We jump directly into the charts here. So on the DXY over the weekend, of course, nothing is happening here. But I want to point out here one more time that we are, by tomorrow, most likely getting a continuation to the downside. If that would be not happening, and for whatever reason we start to go up here, then we would be going to complete this W pattern on the dollar index here, which would be inherently bearish for all risk assets, and that includes Bitcoin, crypto overall. Again, I'm not seeing this. I see here a steep continuation to the downside, especially as long as we are not breaking this downward sloping trend line here. And at the same time, I also want to point out that we have here descending triangle or a bear flag. You could also call it a bear flag. And then here, that would be your target. So as long as we keep bouncing up and down in between this, we are absolutely fine, and once we break here below 98.4 points, we should then get a continuation move over the next couple of weeks and potentially months that should get us all the way down below 90 points. So I'm gonna leave that here, just remove the target line, and then we're gonna see over the next couple of days or the upcoming week basically how we consolidate here within, and then by the end of the month hopefully getting at some point that breakdown that we are looking for here of the current horizontal. When we look at the Bitcoin weekly chart, so here we're about to flip this candle green, which is insanely bullish to me, so especially on a Sunday, and because we're about to close this candle in the next 11.5 hours. I want to point out here once again that if we close that candle, even in red, it doesn't really matter, and we start pumping it slightly to the upside, that this is a continuation candle and a morning star pattern with these three candles here, that should get us into a new all-time high of 114,000, 115,000, maybe even 120,000 over the next week. I definitely see around $110,000 if we start pumping it to the upside. And I will show you in a moment why a lot of things are lining up here, that we are going actually to the upside, and not any retest here in the $100,000 area. So I just want to point this out here before I go into the next chart. The RSI looks extremely bullish to me by making here a slight turn back to the upside while we are here above 63%. On the percentage scale, so that means we're in bullish territory. We basically got a bounce here, and that means also continuation into higher levels. On the daily chart, we are about to break out of the falling wedge pattern that we were forming here. Also here, by tomorrow, we are also about to break out of the falling wedge pattern here. So by tomorrow, we should get a nice move here to the upside, and another continuation candle on the daily. The following day, I expect there somewhat of a pullback or a sideways move, and then another push into higher levels. So by Wednesday, Thursday, potentially we could see a new all-time high. So I don't want to pin myself down too much on a specific date, so because that can always change a little bit depending on also on news events that most likely can impact the price. But from a technical perspective, by Wednesday, Friday, in that time frame, we could potentially see another all-time high, or at least a test of $110,000 in my opinion. This trade setup here for the falling wedge is really close to be activated at $106,000. We're not far away from that. If you want to trade this, guys, just basically what I would do is I would wait for today's daily close and then enter this. Then here on the 1 hourly chart, here our trade got already activated. So this is a short-term trade. Just want to remind you of that. $112,600 is the target up here, and the reason why I would already enter this is because we are technically gonna admit there is also a buffer zone. So there is a buffer zone. We're not completely in the clear yet. We will be completely in the clear again here around $106,000. So, but I wanted to give you here that potential entry where you are getting a little bit lower in because of this cuff and handle pattern that is now breaking here to the upside. Remember, I told you here the neckline that brings us already to $110,000 approximately is something to keep an eye on. So you can technically enter this already, you are not too late. But once we are going past $106,000 and squeeze higher, from there I would most likely not, at least for these setups, not enter anymore. Now on this daily chart, just want to point out here the beautiful bounce of that downward sloping trend line. That we are seeing here, just because here it was resistance, and here we broke this resistance, we got multiple retests, went to the upside, then got here now the confirmation of that break here, that this is now support, and that means we go higher. There's no doubt in my mind that this is what we are going to see next here. If you want to trade with us together, guys, these bounces and also the patterns that I have just shown you, then go sign up on Blowfin. Blowfin is a non-KYC exchange, so you can sign up there without giving any information about yourself besides an email address, and that you can get an email address from wherever. You can trade and earn, so the more you trade, the more you deposit, the more money you will get back from the exchange as a bonus. Plus, if you want me to help you to turn $500 into $10,000, then also sign up there, join the Alpha group, and deposit $500 on your Blowfin account. And by next week, Thursday, we're gonna start taking $500 to $10,000. I will personally help you in that group to achieve that. I want to mention it will be a slow process. This will be not like every single day I send like 20 trades or something and we are like in 3 days up $4,000. This is not what we are doing. We do it slowly and consistently to get to that point, and then we make a new challenge. So if you want to be part of that, guys, sign up with the link in the description below. Deposit $500 into your Blowfin account. If you deposit less, then you have to, of course, assume that also the result will then differ. You know, I give you an example. If you deposit $200 and you want to still take part in it, fine. But then instead of 10,000, you will only make $4,000. So you have to put this in proportion. So just want to mention that here, and also the link to join the Telegram channel is in the pinned comment below and in the description below. But follow the steps: sign up, deposit money, then join the Telegram and write me a DM either on Telegram or on my Twitter account with your Blowfin account number, and then my team will let you into the Alpha group. So don't miss out on that. Everything is in the pinned comment below and in the description below for that. On the NDX Algo Scalp Gradients, here you can see we are trying to reclaim the weekly open here in the price action, while the MDX Algo Scalp Gradients are heating up with pink candles, so which is usually a sign for expansion to the upside. Look here, we had here also purple candle and then got a move to the upside, came down a little bit again, and then we completely shot for the stars. And I see something similar happening here again. Usually when we get a buy signal, it takes a while before we get again a sell signal. It is not like quite imminent, you know, so I would not expect from here, without some sort of a really bad news event, to get from here a sell signal and we come here back down and then go up and then break to the upside. So I have seen things like that, you know, so, but it's usually circulating around a really, really bad news event when this is happening. So just if we stay with technicals, this is not usually the case, as you have a rogue seller in the market. Therefore, we should get here a nice continuation and a test of $107,500 approximately here in the next coming days. And if we are able to break above the downward sloping trend line here, then also here we get to blast off potentially straight into a new all-time high. On the reactor indicator also here, everything points to continuation. What I would like to see is maybe while we consolidate, a small cool-off phase, that we come a little bit down like this, and then get the heated phase where we usually get then the bearish divergences, or also up here 2 dot plots, which is then marking the top, the short-term top. Yeah, so that's what I would love to see. On the liquidation levels here, clear what I pointed out yesterday. The 50 moving average gave now a death cross, but this is an absolute fake out, you know, so we don't need to talk about this really when you look at this, because the 50 is already here turning to the upside with the next 4-hourly candle most likely going back to give a buy signal for a golden cross, and that means price will expand to the upside, and we are on our way to start liquidating the high leverage liquidity that's stacked here between $106,700 to $110,400 approximately. So there is the majority of liquidity right now. We are in here since $102,400 on that specific trade that I had given a couple of days ago, up 3.2% currently with the current price. So, and here I hunt liquidity levels all the way up to $116,000 approximately. So you see we have 3 different setups. You can pick the one that you like, but here you can basically not enter anymore, you know. So if you miss that, you're too late, you know. So I would not try to to trade this specific setup here if you did not get the entry all the way. So now on the liquidation heat map, on a 2 weeks chart, you will see here liquidity concentrating at around $107,000. Hence why I pointed out earlier that we could see around $107,500 a small rejection. But then once we get above that, we're gonna short squeeze from 108,000, 109,200 approximately, then all the way up to $111,000. And once we reach that level, I expect that we also go into a new all-time high, because there's basically blue skies above us and not that much liquidity. So if I go here to a monthly chart, there should not be that much above us. Yeah, so yeah, 116. Let's see, do I get here 120? Yeah, no, it stops at $116,000 in terms of leveraged liquidity. There's nothing above $116,000 currently. So once we get above 114, 115,000, we have basically liquidated everybody on the short side, and most likely then we're gonna come down, consolidate before we then get another leg into higher prices. So at the total free market cap, so here some altcoins are moving today, especially while Bitcoin started also to move. Here I expect by Monday, Tuesday, again a nice push into higher levels. We need to get above $860 billion. Once we are above that level, I just want to mark that out here as resistance. So once we are above that resistance, which was prior support, as you can see over here, we're going to get a nice move here in direction of $900 billion. So we are not far away from that. The $835 billion level is currently holding as support, which is bullish in my opinion, but we need to get over 160 here in the next 3 days to get a continuation into higher prices. Then the Bitcoin dominance was earlier, here red, the candle of today. So we are a little bit flip-flopping here. You see this is an indecision candle, and again, an indecision candle does not always lead to a move to the downside, but it would make sense here because that would be then a bearish engulfing if we got a candle like this, and that could be only changed if Bitcoin goes tomorrow on a straight rampage close to a new all-time high, you know, in one single candle on the daily chart. I don't see that right now. It would be, of course, nice, and also some altcoins will go up with Bitcoin in that moment, but I don't see it right now, and I see rather here a nice small move to the downside and another rejection of that big resistance area here from 64.6 to now I have to scale it to 66.6%. If you want to trade altcoins, guys, I trade all my altcoins on Bybit. Sign up on Bybit, you still get $30,000 there, plus a debit card, plus a free $500 airdrop position if you use the link in the pinned comment below and in the description below. And if you're in Europe, you can now use Bybit without any restrictions again. So also be aware of that. Because like I said, all my altcoins trades are happening there, and in the next coming days I'm going to show you some crazy positions that I'm currently holding there. So, and if you want further to follow me on Bybit with my trades and basically just take the same trades that I'm doing, you want to have a Bybit account, guys, you know. So trust me, if I show you the size of these positions that I'm currently holding and that I'm going to open also next week, it will blow your mind. So trust me, you want to have an account there. So use the link in the pinned comment below and in the description below. When we are looking at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, however, I would like to see here a small pump today. It looks like that we're not getting it. I would be really surprised to see here a reclaim and basically a 0.001 point move here on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart to get above the downward sloping trend line. You see here we have a lot of wicks over the last month basically getting above that and immediately get pushed below that trend line again. This week, in the next let's say 11 hours, we most likely going to get it next week. So next week we're going to get then, in my opinion, a pretty violent move above that line. So Ethereum should go absolutely bananas. Here also on the daily chart, I just want to show you this here really quick. Look at the stochastic. We got today a buy signal. If we close as it is today, with the MACD here also losing momentum and about to give us a buy signal, we should get in the next 72 hours a really crazy candle to the upside, in my opinion. We are today fighting here again with the downward sloping trend line of that bullish pennant here with that bull flag, but I'm not really concerned about that as long as we are holding on Bitcoin, the current level that we are holding, and giving room for altcoins to move here a little bit higher. Also here on this daily chart, with that ascending triangle, as long as we are closing above the 0.382 level, I consider that bullish, because that is technically a bounce level on the Fibonacci extension levels, and that should get us at least to $2,600 here, also here in the next 72 hours, potentially even to $2,700. Solana is on the 4-hourly chart consolidating, which is absolutely fine. We are slightly above our entry level, so you will be not too late to enter Solana right now. If you still want to do that, you see here the bearish momentum is fading away. We had here a lot of red consecutive candles, but they are getting smaller, smaller, smaller. Then we got now here a bullish, and now one more red candle. So, but the RSI also looks like that we are exhausted on the sell side. We are almost turning around here. Only the stochastic RSI is still pointing to the downside, but I think in the next 12 hours that will change dramatically, because when we go to the daily chart, also here, selling pressure is fading away on the MACD. We're about to get here a buy signal by the latest, I would say Wednesday, Thursday next week. And that buy signal will put pressure on Solana to push it at least back to $157, $162 in my opinion. So next week we should see some fireworks on the altcoins, because a lot of them haven't moved yet, but some have, like Injective. So I gave you that trade yesterday here and said, here this falling wedge pattern broke already out, and the last point of entry would be for me here that W formation that also has now broken out with that candle here. So if you would have entered here, you would be up now roughly 2.5%. On the high point today, you would have been up, I think, maybe 4%. Yeah, 4.4% roughly. So also here, the daily chart is clearly telling us there's way more momentum coming, and we are most likely going here to $16.50. So you are technically also not too late for that move, because this is a 26, almost 27% move from the original entry. So, and from the current price action, this is still a 23% move, so still more than enough money to go around here if you want to play that. Yeah, so why would you not take that trade, so because the technicals pointing first of all to the target of the falling wedge pattern, which is $15.45, and we're not that much then anymore away. So basically just $1 away from here, that major resistance, where I expect a rejection first before we then get a consolidation and another push then through it into higher prices. Here the same thing with ICP. I gave you that yesterday here at that point here at $5.04. Look where we are now. We are 8% up from that. 5% up from that. At the high point, it was 6.7% roughly. So now, would I still enter this right now? No. So here is a little bit different. We have here a beautiful W pattern. So here you need now to wait for confirmation that we are breaking above $5.47, because we are breaking not only this downward sloping trend line at that moment, but also here the neckline of the W pattern, and then you can trade this into the technical target of $6.13. So if you would have been in here from $5.04 roughly, so you would look at a 21% move here. Right now, from the neckline to the target, you're looking at still 12%. So that means if I would set up a trade, so this would be most likely then my trade setup. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that would be my trade setup. So you have a 1-to-3 risk reward ratio a little bit more than that. We want here 12% roughly. So there, 12%. So yeah, still did not change really. You have here 3.89% stop loss at $5.25 from $5.47. So you should be fine with that here, because also again the daily chart clearly just started to get going here. You know, so yeah, so there could be a small rejection at $5.47 if I look on the daily chart. No, don't want to lie here. Maybe even we go slightly above that and then turn one more time around to test support, basically at $5.40. And then we get it after a small consolidation, continuation to the upside. So just want to point that out here, because that I just saw that. So that is actually a bigger support resistance flipped zone here. So now you can see this clearly here: support, broke support, turned into resistance, broke resistance, tried to turn into support but failed. Then again resistance. So when we come up here, we most likely gonna get slightly above that. So then retest this, hopefully then flipped into support, and then consolidation, then blast off into the technical target. So be a little bit careful around that specific level. The next one is SUI. Oh wow, SUI got rejected from the downward sloping trend line of that falling wedge pattern, but regardless, here on the 1 hourly chart we are still looking good for potential continuation, because the MACD is about to print a buy signal. The stochastic RSI is going up, the RSI is pointing down right now. So, but we're still consolidating within that falling wedge. I would like to see a breakout here in the next 4 to 5 hours, at least to $3.27, something like that. Yeah, best case scenario, we go straight here to the technical target of the falling wedge pattern. So if you want to trade this, the falling wedge pattern top would be not the target that I would be aiming for. So I would be aiming here for the golden ratio. So I mentioned that yesterday. That would be my first take profit point. Yeah, so a 1 to 4.5 risk to reward ratio trade here. Yeah, I would definitely take some profit off here when we get to the golden ratio on the 4 hourly chart. But then don't forget, we have a bigger trade set up. Just have to get it here. So when we get above the golden ratio, then from $3.49, there is then a continuation trade. So if you get in down here, but with a limit order, guys, with a limit order, then you can take some profit off here at the golden ratio, see how we react, if we blast through it or not. If we come back down, fine, you close the trade completely and re-enter at a different stage. If we are blasting through it, you still have your position. You can re-add your profits plus the initial margin at $3.49 and trade the continuation here all the way up to $4.42. So just want to point that out here, because on the daily chart, again, we're just getting warming up here. Stochastic about already going up. MACD about to print a really super bullish crossover, and the RSI is going sideways because we're currently at resistance, but this might be changing here in the coming hours. And then the next one, TRB. I adjust a little bit this downward sloping trend line. So technically you could have entered here already yesterday at $46.87. You would be slightly up on this trade right now with 2.7%. Remember, once we are breaking through this downward sloping trend line, I expect a big candle to the upside. I'm waiting for this currently because I missed this entry down here. So I wait now for the break of this downward sloping trend line. There is a chance that we are coming back down to the entry level and then basically go and see a ballistic move straight to $55. We have seen here many times in the past, because on the daily chart, also here again, we are overextended on a stochastic RSI. The MACD is also in indecision mode, and the RSI is just pushing sideways here. So also a lot of indications to me that this is just a big consolidation phase before we get a big move here into higher levels, most likely to $70. Guys, that's already for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed that quick update on the Sunday. Don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you with a lot more money tomorrow.